And let me just kind of walk you through briefly. I don't know if I'll need all 10 minutes, but the differences between a broker and us. And the typical broker, Wells Fargo, Chase, Edward Jones, the big houses, they're selling product. So they have funds that they represent, that they buy. They turn and sell those. They're generally A, B, or C class funds, and that matters on the commissions. They're commission based. There's also hidden fees as well, but the commissions generally on a class A range, they can go as high as a little over 8%. They're usually about 5.75% of your money. So if you put in 100 grand, it's worth 5,750 less, virtually day one. A lot of times when you see movement in your portfolio, one reason is the commissions. So that's a class B, and you can look on your statements. If you have a Wells Fargo or Edward Jones as your brokerage house or your planners, you can see what kind of stocks you have or what kind of funds you have in that portfolio. The B class stocks are backloaded, so those commissions are paid not up front, but as you go. The C class stocks are a little different. They're internal, but in most cases, there's, besides the stated commissions, there's the hidden commissions. So if you've heard of a 12B1 fee, these are the fees that they can charge in addition to internally on your portfolio. They generally run around 1%. Those fees are really just extra commissions so that they can afford to go out and buy new clients. So your money is perpetuating their business. And there really isn't anything wrong with that. We all have to make money, and we all charge commissions or fees on whatever it is we do. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not downgrading. I'm just saying you need to be aware, because if you think that your broker is charging you 1.5, the reality may be with the total commission package plus the 12B1 fees, they're usually in the 2.5 to 3.5% range. Now, if you're thinking 100%, 3.5% doesn't sound like a lot. But if you're making 10% and they're taking 3.5 of it, that's quite a lot. That's 35% of your potential profit. So believe me, whatever you're paying in commissions are huge in the end result over time, or can be huge in the end result over time. What we are is we're fiduciary. So we are selling expertise, not commissions on a product. The other issue about products is when I'm a broker and I have product, I'm selling that product. I'm not necessarily selling best case scenario for you. It's a lot like in the insurance business with the health insurance and life insurance. If I work for MetLife, I'm selling MetLife products. If I'm a broker, in this context, I'm more like a fiduciary. I'm selling whatever's available in the market, what's best for you. As a fiduciary, we sell that expertise and research. We have no commissions. We get paid on a fee. So our general fees run between 1.3% and 1.7% on your portfolio, with no hidden fees and no 12B1 fees because we're not brokers. And that's total. So over time, even if we have equal performance, that will be significant. So again, if you have a portfolio, we can look up very quickly exactly what you're paying, including the hidden fees, and how it's performing. The next thing I want you guys to understand, I talk a lot about guarantees because most of us are in that retirement phase or facing it, age. Now, many here are not, but it's a stage of life issue. But I'm real big on guarantees when you're 60 or 65. versus risk. I'm not opposed to risk. We do equities. There is risk. But I am very conservative by nature. Crystal and I have lost too much money in too many different ways and been burnt for me not to be at this stage of my life. So it depends on where you're at in life. You know, there's such a thing as called the average returns, as you'll hear a lot about in the market. But there's also, even more importantly, when you're nearing retirement or taking income, the order of returns. So you need to understand the difference between average returns versus order of returns. Order of returns have to do with when you start taking income, your return percentage of growth is being eaten at by the income you're taking. And then when the market has a major correction, you're still needing that income. You're now eating from a plate that's half full. And that's how most people eat up their income before they die. And you could have $1 million and go through it in your by your early 80s just because of the order of returns. So you need to understand the difference. So you need to either, and I'm a big fan of real estate investment. So, but it's not for everybody, and it's a big game. Now, I'm a fan of a diversified portfolio, and I do like real estate as part of that portfolio. I'm very positive on what Kathleen does with her mortgage side of her business. But managed money, if you're going to have managed money, then you need to be aware of not just commissions and performance, but you also need to be aware of what is called beta. So a beta in the standard market performance, S&P 500, it will be a 1.0. Okay? So everything will be measured against 1.0. That is, now you know beta testing, pretty much we're all familiar with the word beta. In the investment world, beta is the measurement benchmark of risk. Okay, so a 1.0 and you have S&P stocks, then and you're performing at your fund is performing at a 1.0. That means you're at the same risk level as, say, the S&P 500. Most most funds don't perform at a 1.0, or they don't perform at the level of return. They usually don't get both. About 70% of the time, most of your portfolios are not getting a 1.0 and full return of the S&P, let's say. Our firm on the conservative fund is fairly close, a little under the S&P performance right now, but the beta is 60 to 70% less. It's at a 0.3 to 0.4. That's significant. That means we're taking significantly less risk to get very close results. It's not the same, not quite as good results. We're talking a very conservative fund. The moderate fund that we have is 0.4 to 0.5. So we're 50 to 60% less risky to get close to the same results. Again, that is significant when the market corrects. Our balanced fund is 0.5 to 0.6. It is getting a little better than the S&P, yet taking 40 to 50% less risk. Our growth fund is 0.8 to 0.9, 10 to 20% less risk. Better results. Now, over time, that matters tremendously. Also, most of your funds and mutual funds are a buy and hold strategy. So when we have a black swan day, you're not out. You can't get out. You can't have your funds sold and benched on the sidelines that quickly. You will not be out. You will lose. We're a tactical planner, so we can get out in seconds, sometimes most minutes. That's significant if there's a plane flying into a building to your portfolio. So I think I'm done. Next time I'll show you everything I just said in graph form so you can see exactly how we perform to any standard portfolio. Got time for one question? Yeah, Kathleen.
I have a question. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the commercial that's on TV right now with the husband and wife talking about how the government's going to take away their ability to talk to their planner. So there must be some kind of regulation coming out in the near term. Are you familiar with impending changes that are coming that change the way that the fees are charged and the structure?
The only familiarity on that is the disclosure. They're not disclosed properly.
I see.
And my understanding is that, they have to disclose if you ask, but they don't disclose when you don't ask. And most people don't ask what those hidden fees are. That's my only understanding on the major changes. Yeah, is those have to be fully disclosed, the 12B1 fees and stuff. All right.